Welcome to a brand new season in Canadian football on TSN. A great opener at Taylor Field in Regina. The Stampeders unveil Doug Flutie. The Riders counter with Kent Austin. And the Saskatchewan sky will be full of footballs on opening night. Great matchup to watch tonight. Ken Moore of the Stampeders, a former Rough Rider, against a slimmed-down Bobby Jurison.
Well, Bobby Jurison is playing the rush end position this year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's lost 30 pounds. He's going to be quicker.
And we're underway. This is Derek Crawford on the return for the Calgary Stampeders. And he's up near the 40-yard line. Dan Rasevich leading the Saskatchewan Tacklers after a 21-yard return. Wally Buono beginning his third season as head coach of the Calgary Stampeders, and he's had nothing but success. Don Matthews of the Saskatchewan Roughriders begins his first full season as head coach in Regina. Doug Flutie at the controls of the Calgary Stampeders, officially for the first time. From the 40, first and 10. Flutie has time and intended that for Keevan Jenkins. There are some changes offensively for the Calgary Stampeders up front. Coverton is new. McDonald is new at center. And Moore has moved to a different spot on the right side. Cafasso also starting for the first time. Great outside receivers and inside receivers as well.
Well, Alan Pitts last year, a league record 118 receptions. The backfield, the same as last year. Keevan Jenkins and reliable Canadian Andy McVeigh at that fullback spot. Good pressure initially, though, from that Saskatchewan front four on Doug Flutie.
Second and 10, Stampeders at their own 40. Flutie over the middle. Alan Pitts has his first catch, and he's very close to a first down. We'll see where they spot the ball.
It's interesting how when Doug Flutie moved to a new team, how quickly he found Alan Pitts. You know, in 2 quarters of preseason football, Pitts caught 12 passes, all from Doug Flutie. Here he working on Stacey Hairston, just a hook to the inside, gets good position on Stacey Hairston, and the Calgary Stampeders pick up their first down of 1992 on their first possession.
Hairston has moved to a halfback spot from a corner position he occupied last year. First and 10, Calgary, just across the 50. Keevan Jenkins tries the near side, and Jenkins has a couple. Bobby Jurison forced him out, number 71. Well, there's the guy with the Harley. The CFL's Jerry Glanville.
Well, I'm not sure. They're very similar. They both motivate their team so well, but Saskatchewan with a 4-3 alignment this year. Bobby Jurison. Jared Bayless comes over as a free agent signing, formerly with the BC Lions, and there is a pretty solid linebacking core. Tyrone Jones, of course, we talked about him. James King in the middle this year, and a defensive backfield that will have to play a lot of one-on-one coverage. 4 corners, and then, of course, the middle safety, Glenn Suter.
Second and 5, Flutie far side and overthrew Keevan Jenkins. Coverage supplied by Kim McLeod. So Flutie heads to the sidelines, and the Stampeders get set to kick it away. Willis Jaycox, the lone man deep. For Tony Martino's punts, Martino standing at his own 40. Jaycox near the 15. Away from the first wave, and a pretty good return considering he was surrounded. 42-yard punt for Martino that time, and leading the tacklers for Calgary, Greg Knox. Kent Austin at the control of the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense. Beginning his 6th season, 32 touchdowns last year, and he really only played 12 and a half games. From the 24, Milson Jones makes the first reception of the year for Saskatchewan. And Matt Finley was there to bring him down out across the 30. Jones has slimmed down a little bit.
Milson's down to about 235 pounds, which is tiny for him. He used to be around 250. A few changes on the offensive line. Craig Hendrickson gets the start this year at left tackle. Chris Gioscas moves to the guard. Same receiving core that finished the 1991 season. Jeff Fairholm, B.K. Williams, Don Narcisse, and Ray Elgard. Same backfield. Lucius Floyd, and, of course, the slim and trim Milson Jones.
Jones picked up 7. This is 2nd and 3, and Ray Elgard out across the 50 to midfield. Finley was in on the tackle, but Greg Peterson got there first. Well, Elgard had injury problems last year, but he is in tip-top shape to begin this season.
Well, he still managed to get over 1,000 yards in receiving last year for the 5th time. See how he works into the middle, open area. The two slot backs of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Ray Elgard and Jeff Fairholm, as a duo as good as any in the league at finding open spots.
25 yards for Elgard. First down Saskatchewan, and Austin is dragged down by Kent Warnock.
Well, Kent Austin is going to see a lot of pressure. I think that the front four of the Calgary Stampeders, the group you see right there, probably the best front four in the league. There are some other good ones, but collectively as a group, I think this is the best one. Daryl Hall, defensive back last year. He's 6'2", 210. They have moved him to a linebacking spot. And, of course, Greg Peterson back in the secondary, anchoring a pretty good group.
A big loss of 10 yards. This is 2nd and 20. Saskatchewan. The 46. There's offside. Markers down. Nelson Jones carried for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I think the Stampeders might have moved a little bit early. There's the indication from our referee, Dave Ewell, beginning his 12th season in Canadian football.
Offside. Calgary number 96. 2nd down repeated.
That's your pal Shreko Zizakovic.
Shreko starting his 2nd season as a defensive tackle with the Calgary Stampeders, but they have a lovely blend. Two Canadians, Kent Warnock and Zizakovic at the tackles, and of course Tim Caulfield and all-Canadian Will Johnson at the ends.
2nd down and 14, near side. Lucius Floyd was the intended receiver. Kenton Leonard, number 30, supplied the coverage for the Stampeders. So it's 3rd down and a bunch, and the Roughriders get set to kick it away. Mike Lazecki into the game for his first punt of the 1992 CFL season. Had a pretty good average in preseason, 43.4. Too deep for the Stampeders. Bouncing for Pee Wee Smith. He's across the 20. And slips crossing the 32-yard line, pinned there by Lucius Floyd. A 44-yard kick that time. And a decent return for Pee Wee Smith. 0 still on the board as we kick off a new season at Taylor Field.
Our matchup tonight is the offensive tackle of the Calgary Stampeders, Ken Moore, against Bobby Jurison, the defensive end of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Former teammates. It should be an interesting battle. Ken Moore talked about it before the game.
Well, I practiced against Bobby for about 4 years before I went to Calgary, and he's always utilized a lot of speed, and he really pursues the ball very well. So in order to try and counteract him, we're going to have to use different types of passing setups, and we're going to have to attack him a little bit so that he's not always attacking us.
Sometimes easier said than done. Bobby Jurison, about 250 pounds last year. He is down around the 230 range a lot quicker. He is a rush end in the system of Don Matthews, and Ken Moore, I think, is going to have his hands full tonight.
Jurison gets to play basically a new position this year as a rush end. And his coach will be James Quick Parker, who had 12 great years and really invented that position of rush end in Canadian football.
He couldn't have a better teacher, and James Parker is going to make all the defensive linemen of the Saskatchewan Roughriders that much better.
1st and 10, Stampeders from the 33. Flutie gets some pressure, but he got it away. Pee Wee Smith makes the catch, stopped short of a first down. Forced out by Mark Scott, number 17.
I'm sure this is something that Wally Buana will be concerned about. The pressure was on Doug Flutie very, very quickly there. Tyrone Jones blitzing right up the middle, almost untouched, and quite frankly, Flutie had to let the ball go before he was ready.
The gain is 4, 2nd and 6, Stampeders. No score at Taylor Field, 9:34 to go in the opening quarter. Flutie on target, and this will be a Stampeder first down out across the 50. As Sean Beals has his first reception, number 88.
Calgary Stampeders going to their six-pack offense early, and 6 receivers out, and the pressure came on Doug Flutie, as you're going to see, but he had just enough time to pick out Sean Beals, who finally comes open underneath, and with some good running picks up a first down. But I'm impressed with the front 7 of Saskatchewan. They're getting some good pressure on Doug Flutie.
Stampeders now 1st and 10 at the Calgary 52. Flutie to the far side, looking deep. And the receiver, Carl Bland, was covered. Albert Brown, the right cornerback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, was with Bland step for step.
Well, here's the matchup we talked about. Ken Moore, Bobby Jerson tries the inside move. Kenny Moore gets a pretty good hook on him. And not a great deal developed there, but I think that is a matchup we're going to enjoy watching throughout the course of this ball game.
2nd and 10, Stampeders. Calgary 52. Flutie deep once more for Alan Pitts. He's got it inside the 25, and he rolls to the 20. Kim McLeod covering on Alan Pitts. "35 yards for Alan Pitts."
The blitz coming. Calgary does a nice job picking up James King and the halfback to the top side, Mark Scott, and Alan Pitts gets in behind Kim McLeod. And boy, if you can live and die by that attack style, live on the edge defense, that time Saskatchewan gave up the big play. Doug Flutie, very calm back there. His offensive line and backs a nice job to pick up the blitz and protect him. And boy, it's a huge job to cover Alan Pitts one-on-one on a continual basis, and Kim McLeod found that out in a hurry.
Injury timeout on the field with 8:12 to go in the opening quarter. Gerald Bayless in his first year with the Roughriders, shaken up in the previous play. He led the Roughriders defensive line with 7 tackles in preseason. He's a quick defensive lineman.
Very quick, and it was interesting to hear Don Matthews' comments about Gerald Bayless and what his acquisition would mean to that defense. You've got Bobby Jerson and Robert Banks, who are extremely good rush defensive ends, but in order to make them even more effective, you need that continual push up the middle, and that's what they know Gerald Bayless is going to give them.
We'll take a quick timeout at Taylor Field with just over 8 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Flutie has the Stampeders on a roll, but there is no score as yet. On the sideline, shaken up on the previous play. Looks like he'll be back in a hurry. Wally Buono saying yesterday that Doug Flutie makes everybody on the Calgary Stampeders just a little bit better. Flutie on a roll right now, 4 of 7, 65 yards, 3 first downs for the Stampeders. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan 23.
1st and 10, Calgary 23.
Flutie looks to the end zone. Pitts is open. Touchdown. Alan Pitts, first touchdown of a new season in Canadian football. And that's twice that Kim McLeod has been beaten by Alan Pitts.
Alan Pitts just has tremendous talent in one-on-one situations to work a defensive back. Doug Flutie rolling away from Pitts. This gives Alan a lot of time to put a few moves on Kim McLeod. He turns him inside out. Flutie throws the ball to the outside, and Kim McLeod just cannot react in time. Alan Pitts with the opening touchdown of 1992.
A 23-yard touchdown strike from Doug Flutie. Mark McLaughlin makes it 7-0 for the Calgary Stampeders, and a rather impressive march for Flutie.
3rd catch so far for Alan Pitts in this first quarter, and he has lots of time. Here, the little stutter step, and that freezes Kim McLeod. Once he stops running, he is dead in the water. Alan Pitts, not even a great throw by Doug Flutie. He had to wait for it, but good enough to give the Calgary Stampeders their first touchdown. Seems fitting that Alan Pitts, after setting that receiving record last year of 118 catches, should get the first touchdown.
118 catches, 1,764 yards. For that man, Alan Pitts, in 1991.
You know, it's interesting. You talk about the 2 inside safeties for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tonight, they are Kim McLeod and Stacey Hairston. The Saskatchewan Roughriders picked up Charles Anthony from the Calgary Stampeders, and they have indicated that he will definitely play next week in Edmonton. So either Kim McLeod or Stacey Harrison will sit down. So there is a battle going on tonight for jobs.
Yeah, for now it might be McLeod sitting down. So look at the way Pitts has worked him over here.
Yeah.
This is Albert Brown. And not much of a return. He's forced out near the 30-yard line.
Stepping into touch right in front of our cameras.
Frank Maroff forcing him out. Dave Sapunjas also in the area. 5 plays, 77 yards. That scoring drive. Flutie to Alan Pitts, a 23-yard touchdown to make it 7-0. And it's paying off already for Larry Rickman, Stampeders' new owner.
He made a huge commitment to the city of Calgary and their fans by signing Doug Flutie, paying him a lot of money, but already he is seeing the benefits. The Stampeders are once again a hot item in Calgary. That's nice to see.
Milson Jones takes Ken Austin's pass and squirms out of the backfield. Good yardage for Jones as he crosses the 40 and was met by Alondra Johnson.
51, Alondra Johnson.
It's like a 9-yard gain for Milson Jones.
Must be a scary sight for those defensive backs when Milson Jones takes a swing pass, gets ahead of steam up, 235 pounds. Those were his numbers of a year ago on the ground. He is equally as good as a receiver.
Numbers of a year ago on the old Toledo were a little bit higher than 235.
A lot higher.
We talked to him about it last year, and he wasn't really admitting to any weight, but we guessed at 250, and he said, well, maybe just a little more, maybe 254 last year.
Now that he's trim, he'll admit it. He also said economic times kind of dictate that he slow down on the groceries a little bit.
You mean the cost of groceries?
No, just on the consumption.
Great night for football, Gord.
Yeah, it is, John. You know, living on the edge is the theme of the Saskatchewan Roughriders season. It may be new to some of the Saskatchewan players, but it's not to everybody on the Calgary bench. Don Southern, one of the assistant defensive coaches, just gathered the defense before this series. Says Don Matthews will always gamble. Second and short, he'll go deep. First and long, he'll run.
Well, this is second and short. Good guess, Don Southern. Jeff Fairholm has the first down near midfield in front of Darrell Hall. Hall started last season at right halfback. He's playing a linebacker spot in the Calgary scheme this time.
It's a great call on second and short. I mean, you know you can pick this up on third down, so why not take a bit of a gamble and work it downfield for some good yardage. Nice catch by Jeff Fairholm. We talk about Calgary's receiving core. This is an excellent receiving core that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have as well, with the two great slot backs.
Jones gets the call once more. He's slowed down, and Matt Finley finally pinned Milson Jones after a gain of about 1. A lot of success in Canadian football. Don Southern, Hall of Famer.
Wally Buono has an excellent coaching staff. Of course, Don Southern, his credentials are impeccable. John Huffnagel is the offensive coordinator. Tom Higgins, the offensive line coach. But he has assembled a great group of teaching coaches.
Second and 9 for Kent Austin and the Roughriders at midfield. Flag down as Lucius Floyd crosses the 40-yard line, but they may bring this one back. It appeared that Ray Elgard might have moved a little early. A good play gets called back.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 81. Second down repeated.
Nevertheless, a pretty interesting offensive play for Saskatchewan. Lucius Floyd quickly splits the seam, gets the ball quickly again from Kent Austin, and fortunately it will come back. Ray Elgart is notorious for trying to get a head start, and he got caught.
Darrell Hall, an all-Canadian halfback with the Calgary Stampeders last year, is the injured player. 6'2", 205 pounds. Big enough to be a linebacker?
I think he's bigger than 205. I think he's around 210 or 215, and although he played defensive back, he is very suited to being a linebacker in this league. When he was a senior at the University of Washington, he led the team in tackles, so that is not a problem. And of course, with teams like Saskatchewan that throw so much of the time, I thought it was a very good strategic move by the Calgary coaching staff to move him to that spot.
Paul Glatney moves in to fill in for Darrell Hall. Second and 14. Austin is intercepted back at the 35. Picked off by Anthony. This is Carl Anthony. And there was good pressure on Austin that time as Anthony has the first interception of a new season. And a big return, 46 yards.
First turnover of the night, the Calgary Stampeders, and good pressure up front from Will Johnson. Watch, Ken Austin knows he's coming. He sees him out of the corner of the eye, and he kind of short arms that throw, and what happens? The ball sails over the head, and who was waiting for it but Carl Anthony, number 19. Nice interception, and a big break for the Calgary Stampeders. They lead 7-0, and they have the ball deep in Saskatchewan territory, but good pressure up front created that interception.
Stampeders are 1st and 10. At the Saskatchewan 27. Calgary already leading 7-0. Flutie on the move, looks to the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Derek Crawford in front of Vincent Donaldson.
Boy, it's so easy to see from up here in the press box, but Derek Crawford was so alone. He was waving and jumping down there. Doug Flutie finally saw him and was able to get the ball to him, but Vincent Donaldson was the closest Saskatchewan Roughrider defensive back, and obviously a breakdown in the secondary because Derek Crawford was left wide open there. Flutie finally sees him and says, oh, I got to get it to him, and he gets it just far enough, and pretty easy touchdown. So they take advantage very quickly of that interception by Carl Anthony.
And quickly, it's 13-0 for the Calgary Stampeders. The point after is good, so it's a 2-touchdown lead for the Stampeders. A turnover leads to Derek Crawford's touchdown. He missed most of last season after an injury on opening day. But Derek Crawford is back. The Stampeders are in the lead. It's 14-0 Calgary at Taylor Field, Regina.
You know I love my
You've got a scoring summary going.
Kurt Harnett, mental containment.
Derek Crawford is back. He has his first touchdown of 1992. What about this guy? Is he making an impact in Calgary, number 20?
He will make a huge impact. You know, he averaged a little better than 2 touchdowns passing per game last year. He's taking care of that average here in the first quarter. There it was, quick. 1 play and 27 yards. They take advantage of the turnover. And of course, in most preseason polls around the country, Calgary Stampeders were picked to finish first, and so far they are playing as though that will be the case here in the first quarter. They have not made a mistake and look awesome.
This is Willis Jaycox. Second in all-purpose yards in Canadian football last year. Sets the Roughriders up in decent field position. They'll begin at the 40. Errol Tucker leading the Calgary tackler.
You know, John, everybody in the league knows how good Calgary is and is going to be, and certainly Ken Austin realizes that too, and I think we're at a critical stage in the ball game. They trail 14-0. He is playing against a very difficult defense, and Ken Austin cannot afford to make any more mistakes. He has to try and get his team back into the ball game, pick away at that Calgary defense, but I think there is a sense of urgency right now for him to try and reestablish something and get something on the board.
4:34 to go in the opening quarter. The Roughriders trail the Stampeders 14-0. Austin over the middle. Elgard, the intended receiver. He couldn't hang on. Carl Anthony, number 19, a pretty good pop on Elgard as he tried to make the catch.
Elgard is tough as nails going across the middle. He's been that way throughout his whole career, but watch the end of this as Carl Anthony comes and puts the pop on Elgard right at the end and knocks the ball loose. That's a big hit. Interception and now a big hit. He's having a whale of a first quarter.
2nd and 10 Roughriders. Saskatchewan 40. Austin far side. Don Narcisse in front of Tucker, and that should be a first down for the Riders. Big catch by Don Narcisse, one of 3 Rider receivers over 1,000 yards last year.
He has been pretty consistent in 3 years in a row, over 1,000. Good looking receiver, great speed, has excellent body control in the air with his hands catching the football. He is one receiver that can come up and make the circus catch.
On first down, Austin with time. His receiver fell down. That's Byron Williams, number 87. Junior Thurman was with him. Byron K. Williams joined the Saskatchewan Roughriders about the same time as Don Matthews did.
He played for Don Matthews in the World Football League when Matthews coached in Orlando, so Don Matthews, of course, was very familiar with Byron K. Williams. Had some playing time with the Ottawa Roughriders a few years ago, so he is no stranger to the CFL.
2nd and 10 for Austin and the Roughriders. The Saskatchewan 52. Austin time to throw. Fairholm was the intended receiver. There was heavy traffic down there. Carl Anthony, one of the defenders in the area. Alondra Johnson had moved back from his middle linebacking spot to help with the coverage.
Watch the fake! Fake! Watch it!
You know, as a receiver, you have to work really hard in these one-on-one situations. Austin wanted to throw an out to Jeff Fairholm. He really is, that's a lazy kind of out, and he never really was able to turn Carl Anthony around. He drifts it downfield. He doesn't come back to the football, and a little disappointing. He's a much better receiver than he showed right there, but he didn't help his quarterback out.
A booming punt from Mike Lazecki. This is Pee Wee Smith at the 15 for Calgary. Chased down, and Smith cut from behind. Good tackle by James King. Well, Bob Poley, in his 15th CFL season, has been relegated to a backup role and a special team role this season. He's one of our entertainers at halftime. Head-to-head, Bob Poley versus Calgary's Dave Supungis. And Darrell K. Smith of the Argos is the host of the entertainers at halftime. So catch that, and you'll get a chance to vote on your favorite between the two during the second half. 1st and 10, Stampeders. Flutie. And Pitts makes the catch as he falls in front of McLeod at the 30. Already a pretty nice night for Flutie and Pitts.
On the 30.
Well, Kim McLeod is convinced that Alan Pitts is going to run the streak down the sidelines. Then at the last second, with the play action, he has all kinds of time to set up the out. The ball is on target, and so far in the first quarter, you would think Doug Flutie and Alan Pitts have played together for about 10 years.
Another Calgary first down. The Stampeder 30 now. Kevan Jenkins, the first running play of the night for the Stampeders. And Jenkins is most of the way toward a first down.
Yeah, he has to do this every once in a while just to keep the Saskatchewan front seven honest, to run the football. I know Doug Flutie would rather throw it on every down, but it's a good move just to try and slow down any pass rush that Saskatchewan may try and muster and keep it on the ground occasionally.
Kevan Jenkins signed a new contract with the Stampeders on Monday. Gain of 7. This is 2nd and 3. And another first down to Alan Pitts. Rasevich brought him down. Penalty marker is on the field.
Just talked to Alan Pitts on his way into this series. He said the reason Calgary's been so successful offensively so far is that Saskatchewan is playing bump and run at the line. He says, we'll go crazy if they play that all day.
Offside. Calgary number 18. 2nd down repeated.
Alan Pitts, 4 receptions, 80 yards so far.
Well, there's no question the defensive backs of Saskatchewan are challenging the Calgary receivers, and you know, you live on the edge, and sometimes that can be pretty scary.
From the 32, 2nd and 8 Calgary. Flutie has Supungis wide open at midfield. Supungis finally dragged down at the Saskatchewan 40 by Kim McLeod. 38 yards for Dave Supungis.
Here's Dave Supungis right here, and here's Kim McLeod. Watch Supungis, little move out here, and then he gets into the middle. Doug Flutie sees him so quickly, but this is the thing Alan Pitts was talking about. If they want to stay up and challenge us, we can get around them in a hurry, and Kim McLeod is having all kinds of difficulty here in the first quarter.
Into the final 15 seconds of the opening quarter, 1st and 10. Dwayne Ford carries for the Stampeders that time. On first down.
Tackle by 98 Bayless.
Flutie's fun to watch, isn't he?
He certainly is.
I mean, he is. It's like he is in his office out there. He's in full command. He knows how to set up certain situations. He's been taking advantage of matchups out there. Alan Pitts on Kim McLeod. They've really been working over Kim McLeod, but he is in such total control.
And he's using a lot of receivers. Should be the last play of the opening quarter. Flags down. Evan Jenkins makes the catch in front of Dan Rasevich.
Jenkins. Flag on the play. Penalty mark at the 30-yard line.
Holding. Calgary number 54. Second down repeat.
That's center Bob McDonald making his first professional start tonight. The left tackle Bruce Covington is also making his first pro start, as is Luke Cafazzo, the right guard. So lots of new faces in that Stampeder offensive line, but apparently it's quicker as a unit than it was last year.
It was like pulling teeth to get Wally Buono to admit that it was a better offensive line, but somehow we squeezed that out of him. He said, yes, this is a better group than I had at the end of last year.
2nd and 17. Flutie got a little pressure, but he's got time to throw on the run and short-armed that one. Carl Bland, number 85. Good opening quarter for the Calgary Stampeders and Doug Flutie. Stampeders have 2 touchdowns to lead it 14-0. Second quarter coming right up. Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina. I'm John Wells along with Lee Pedersen and Gord Miller as we kick off a brand new season in Canadian football. Stampeders' drive has stalled on 3rd and 17. It's a kicking situation for Calgary. Martino, high kick. Willis Jaycox at the Saskatchewan 10, and there's nowhere to run. Numbers in the opening quarter completely in favor of the Calgary Stampeders. Total yards 179 to 66. Time of possession was fairly close, but the Stampeders got 2 touchdowns. And Doug Flutie used 5 different receivers, tossing touchdown passes to Alan Pitts and to Derek Crawford.
One turnover you saw critical. Carl Anthony's interception was converted into a Derek Crawford touchdown in one play. So Ken Austin would like to have that one over again. There's no question about that.
Saskatchewan offside on the Tony Martino punt, and that will give the Stampeders a chance to go for a field goal. So Mark McLaughlin comes in. Steve Taylor will hold. Well wide, and the Roughriders will get a bit of a return from Jaycox near the 25-yard line and brought down by a swarm of Stampeder jerseys.
It's funny how things work out. You know, a bit of a break for Saskatchewan as they get better field position, even though they were penalized and afforded Calgary an opportunity to score some points. They end up coming out of it pretty well.
Kent Austin has to get this Rough Rider offense moving. Early in the second quarter, he's down by 2 touchdowns to Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders. Austin for Lucius Floyd, and he's close to a first down. Junior Thurman and Matt Finley in on the tackle.
There's a request for measurement to the far side.
Don Matthews' coaching record in Canadian football, 71 wins, 37 losses, and 1 tie. That's 65%. 1 Grey Cup in there with the BC Lions.
He has a great ability to motivate his team. He somehow is always able to create a kind of we against them attitude and puts a little shell around all the players and builds up their confidences, and he's been able to do that in every city he has coached in, and I suspect it will be no different here in Saskatchewan. And it's taken him time to find the players that he feels will fit his scheme, and he feels that he has that group right now.
Great night for football at Taylor Field. Some rain in the area earlier in the day, but it's dry right now. First down for Lucius Floyd. Here's Austin, hit as he throws, Elgard, the intended receiver. Junior Thurman was covering it. Austin didn't get all he wanted on that ball as he was hit on the release.
That's the pressure of that front four of the Calgary Stampeders. They caused an interception earlier, and that time Ray Elgard was wide open, as you'll see. He gets in behind Junior Thurman, and it was the pressure up front that enabled Austin from completing that pass. So Junior Thurman was beaten initially, but he got some help from the boys up front.
Junior Thurman in his 4th year with the Calgary Stampeders. 2nd and 10 for Austin and the Roughriders. Floyd again. He'll be well short of the first down this time. Darrell Hall made the tackle. Gain will be around 5, and that makes it 3rd and 5.
That's what makes the Calgary defense so tough. You know, they know 2nd and long, and they just sat back and played their zones perfectly, forced Austin to throw underneath, and then, of course, came up and made the tackle. They are a very difficult group to work against, and so far in this game, Ken Austin is finding that out. It's a disciplined team in all facilities. Their special teams, Calgary's, are excellent. Offensively, defensively, they're tough, and well, Saskatchewan's going to definitely have their work cut out.
This is Errol Tucker. Tyrone Jones leading the Saskatchewan tacklers, and Mark Scott finished off Errol Tucker. A 33-yard punt for Mike Lazecki, and the Stampeders lead the way, 14-0.
Well, the biggest news in the offense, of course, was the free agent signing of Doug Flutie, and before the game, we had a chance to talk to Doug and find out, was it much of a transition from his move from BC to Calgary?
Actually, it's been a pretty smooth transition. I didn't know what to anticipate. A little nervous, a little hesitant when I first got going, but the guys have been very receptive, and obviously there's a lot of talent on this team, which makes my job a lot easier. And I'm just trying to come in, play my part, do my role, and let things take care of themselves.
I think that might be the understatement of the year when he said the guys were receptive. Hey, they're thinking instant Grey Cup appearance again with Doug Flutie. Hey, Danny Barrett was a good friend of all the Calgary Stampeders, but the fact is, with a Doug Flutie, you have a chance at repeating to the Grey Cup and maybe winning it.
Yeah, maybe when you think about it, it's a silly question when you look at Flutie's first quarter performance. 8 of 12, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Transition, he hasn't missed a beat.
It's been great. They love him in Calgary.
First and 10. Stampeders beginning at the 28-yard line. Calgary leading 14-0.
Now sitting at $500 and 5 Plaza of Honor dinner tickets. Get your tickets from the Rams. $1. Time was a minute first and 10 at the...
On first down, Flutie far side, and Pitts can't make the catch. Make that Carl Bland, number 85.
I can't hear anything on the
What a great core of receivers. Derek Crawford, Carl Bland of the wideouts on a regular basis, backed up at times by Pee Wee Smith, who gets in on the 6-pack. Sean Beals, backed up by Dave Sapunjas. And then there's Alan Pitts. Everybody can catch. 2nd and 10 from the 28. Flutie in some trouble. His first run of the night. And Flutie has a first down out near midfield now. They can't catch up to Doug Flutie across the Saskatchewan 40. And Flutie finally steps out near the 30-yard line. A flag down.
Out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 26. There's a flag. Back to 36.
A 56-yard return or run by Doug Flutie.
Illegal block. Calgary number 18. First down.
What a wonderful scramble by Doug Flutie. You know, everybody thinks of him as a scrambling, running quarterback, and that's true to a degree. Now, he would much prefer to scramble around and buy some extra time to find a receiver, but every once in a while, he still likes to take off and run with the football. What a tremendous run that was. But scrambler, yes, scrambler to find a receiver more often than not.
Keevan Jenkins on 1st and 10 for the Stampeders. Looks like a face masking call. James King bringing down Keevan Jenkins. So Flutie picked up 56. The penalty came after the first down. So still a sizable gain for the Stampeders. 14 rushing touchdowns for Flutie last year.
Major foul. Face mask. Saskatchewan number 41. First down.
So it'll be a first down as the Stampeder drive continues. Calgary leading 14-0. 11:37 to go till halftime.
On the 35.
Face masking call against James King puts him in the spotlight for this moment. Gives the Stampeders a 1st and 10. Saskatchewan 33. Flutie floats one out far side. Keevan Jenkins. Jenkins very close to a first down. He should have it. Stacey Hairston. The stop on Jenkins.
Well, the live it on the edge style of defense not working here on the blitz. You know, they're very vulnerable. Keevan Jenkins out of the backfield. Nobody picked him up.
Stampeders at the Roughrider 21. On first down, Flutie looks to the end zone once more. Keevan Jenkins, his first touchdown. The Stampeders' 3rd of the night. Linebacker Mark Scott covering on Keevan Jenkins. And it was a mismatch that time as Flutie has fired 3 touchdown tosses already.
Doug Flutie's so comfortable running. He's got the blitz coming once again. They pick it up nicely, and Keevan Jenkins is able to get in behind the rookie Mark Scott. No contest. Boy, Calgary looks nice and smooth here in the first half.
21-0 as McLaughlin adds his 3rd convert of the night. And Doug Flutie, a man on a mission with great receivers to throw to. He's used them all so far tonight.
He has been able to spread it around nicely, and Keevan Jenkins equally as good at catching the football as he is running it. Nice protection up front. Flutie lofts up a nice, easy pass to catch, and the 3rd touchdown is on the board for the Calgary Stampeders.
Alan Pitts, Derek Crawford, and now Keevan Jenkins with touchdown receptions from Doug Flutie.
Oh, Gord Miller reported earlier that Alan Pitts said if they're going to come up and challenge us like that, we can catch them flat-footed, and really that was the occasion again. Keevan Jenkins just blew right by Mark Scott, and bad footwork, and the result was a touchdown.
10:45 to play till halftime. Stampeders lead by 3 touchdowns. Roughriders could use a big return here. This is Willis Jaycox. See him on the far side, and Jaycox into Calgary territory near the 45. Greg Peterson over to make the tackle. Biggest play of the night for the Roughriders.
Yeah, they need one to get them going. They're down by 21, and boy, it's been an uphill battle to get back in this football game. Let's go back and look at that touchdown. Here's Keevan Jenkins. Here's Mark Scott. This is what I'm talking about. They're up challenging, and watch as Keevan Jenkins, a little move there, and then gets around Mark Scott, but all the defensive backs of Saskatchewan seem to be just caught flat-footed. There's the move. He misses the jam, and it's a touchdown. And boy, if they continue to do that without better footwork, they're going to be in for a long night.
1st and 10 Roughriders now at the Calgary 46. Good fake by Kent Austin. And Austin takes off himself. He's short of the first down.
The quarterback, number 5, Kent Austin.
But Austin doesn't elect to run all that often. Gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Well, we talk about urgency throughout a game. We've already mentioned it once when they were down 14-0, but to be able to take advantage of the good kickoff return by Jaycox, that's a positive. Now they have to build on that and create another positive by getting a field goal or at least a touchdown. They have to do something. This is a critical time in the game once again for Saskatchewan.
2nd and 3, and Milson Jones is stopped short of the first down. Now we'll wait and see where they spot the ball. It is a first down for Milson Jones.
First down.
Not much to cheer about for the fans at Taylor Field so far tonight, but a big run by Jaycox. And a first down here now might get the Roughriders going.
That is a loyal group you're looking at, and they're a little edgy, but they're not too bad here. They like to see their team get back in it quickly.
Narcisse couldn't hang on to the toss from Kent Austin.
Alondra Johnson, number 51, the middle linebacker, was right there to apply the hit just as the ball arrived. And Don Narcisse could not hang on to it. 2nd and 10. Tough situation. Here's 51 Johnson right in the middle of your screen. He sees it developing. He is there, and don't think Don Narcisse didn't know he was coming.
2nd and 10, Riders at the 35, trailing 21-0 to the Calgary Stampeders.
Come on, Timmy, go!
Austin has time, and he had Elgard open, but it's picked off by Darryl Hall. 2nd interception of the night, and Hall still going as he crosses the 50. Carl Anthony had one earlier. Now Darryl Hall comes up with an interception from his linebacking spot.
This is one of the reasons why they moved Darryl Hall to the linebacking position. They can double team with him running with an inside receiver, and they can play the middle safety Greg Peterson free. And you'll see right here, there is Darryl Hall in coverage and watches the bump. He comes underneath. It's an easy interception, the 2nd of the game for the Calgary secondary.
Stampeders already on a roll. Have the football once more and lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders 21-0.
This is what's going to make the Calgary defense so much tougher this year to play against. There is Darryl Hall. He is now a linebacker. There is Greg Peterson. He is now free to pick up anything deep. Watch as Ray Elgard comes up the inside seam, and Darryl Hall will come underneath him and make the interception. But the key point to remember here is the fact that Darryl Hall is now a linebacker with defensive back speed. He comes underneath. They are protected deep in behind him. He's allowed to gamble, and he makes a good choice.
On 1st and 10, Flutie is on the mark for Carl Bland, number 85. And that'll be another Stampeder first down. 21-0 Calgary. Looks a little gray out there right now, but I think we're going to stay dry tonight. What do you want?
We're going to stay dry tonight, I know that.
1st and 10, Stampeders, Rough Rider 42. Flutie at the controls of a great Calgary offense. Slipped that time, and it was pinned by Bayless. Rasovich was there. Jurison was around.
Assist to 74, Dan Rasovich.
Well, for the most part tonight, the Calgary Stampeder offensive line and backs has done a nice job at picking up the pass rush of Saskatchewan, but that time, not enough bodies there to protect Doug Flutie, and the rush came. Bayless in on the sack. That's what they hope for from him, to get that serious push up the middle and then have the defensive ends close down from the outside.
First time the Rough Riders have gotten to Doug Flutie tonight. This is 2nd and 19. Flutie looks long, intending it for Carl Bland, or rather Pee Wee Smith, and Albert Brown was covering. Flutie took a hit.
He took a huge hit, and he is hurt. He's shaky walking off the field, and finally on 2 consecutive plays, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are doing what they said they would be able to do this year, put pressure on the quarterback. Here, just as he releases it, there is Bobby Jurison with the big hit, and then Albert Brown completes the play at the other end by making the good knockdown. So we'll see if that injects a little life into the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who for the most part have been a pretty flat football team here in the first half.
Punting situation for Calgary. This is Willis Jaycox. Big return last time. He starts from the 2 this time. And Jaycox sets the Rough Riders up near the 22-yard line after a 49-yard punt. On the sidelines, Doug Flutie slightly shaken up. Numbers on the quarterbacks. No contest so far. Austin 7 of 15, 80 yards, 2 interceptions. Flutie has 3 touchdown tosses. First and 10 Rough Riders, beginning at the Saskatchewan 22. Austin stands in. This is Milson Jones, and he bulls his way to the 30-yard line after making the catch, running into Alondra Johnson. Close to an 8-yard gain.
I think this is really a strategy Kent Austin is going to have to stick with. Try to throw underneath that Calgary defense and complete the short passes, allow his running backs to get the ball quickly and run with it, because every time he has tried to go over that defense, he's been picked off.
2nd and 2, Fairholm has the first down.
Pass is good to Jeff Fairholm. There's a flag in the backfield.
Doug Flutie on the sidelines.
Major foul.
Well, he's not a big man, but he is tough as nails. He took a huge shot from Bobby Jurison there, but make no mistake, I'm sure you'll see Doug Flutie back in the next series.
Unnecessary roughness charged against Kent Warnock. And so the Roughriders get a first down from Fairholm and more yardage on the infraction against the Stampeders.
53.
Okay, the ball is released, and no question, that's a good call. That's far too late.
Pass attempt going for Floyd.
Carl Anthony covering on Lucius Floyd, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10. The 53.
And that's a situation that Saskatchewan really wants to keep away from. 2nd and long, they've had no success whatsoever with 2nd and long tonight, and Kent Austin truly has to stay with the shorter passes to try and establish some kind of momentum, keep the defense off the field at least for a few minutes, let them get their breath.
Down by 3 touchdowns, Austin. 2nd and long, 2nd and 10. Narcisse makes the catch, and it's a big one inside the Stampeders 40 in front of Errol Tucker.
First down.
Good pattern by Don Narcisse, running the hook against Errol Tucker. Protection fine, allows Austin to step up and put some mustard on that ball. Kind of fortunate that Carl Anthony fell down. He was in front of that play and looked like he might have been in pretty good position to tip it away.
1st and 10 from the 39. Narcisse sideline catch.
Pass is good.
That's a better call.
Tucker.
Better call on first down.
Looks like
You know, Kent Austin, he's a smart guy. He has to be thinking, gosh, you know, Calgary's up 21-0. They're going to make absolutely sure that they don't give up a big play. So he knows that the defense is going to be a little softer. So this is a good opportunity for him to start picking away at it.
The gain is 9, 2nd and 1. Roughriders at the Calgary 30. Milson Jones, and he is inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line.
First down.
Zizakovic in on the tackle on Milson Jones. Both these teams established team records for points scored last year. Calgary with 596. Here's Austin looking to the end zone, and it's picked off. 3rd interception of the night. Greg Peterson.
Pass going for Byron Williams.
Byron K. Williams, the intended receiver. And that's 3 interceptions given up by Kent Austin. The Roughriders are still not on the scoreboard. So it's the Calgary Stampeders with Doug Flutie at the controls, in control at Taylor Field in Regina. Our game of the week belongs to the Calgary Stampeders so far, leading the Saskatchewan Roughriders 21-0 with 4:29 to go till halftime.
Well, things have not gone well for Don Matthews. One of the reasons why. Here is Byron K. Williams. Watch as he breaks down the field here. Greg Peterson, the all-Canadian middle safety, is free. He has no responsibilities other than to watch for the deep pass. He will come over and make the interception quite easily, and it's the same old story for Kent Austin. Every time he tries to go over the top of this defense, he has had trouble all night long, and this is the 3rd interception directly as a result of trying to get the long bomb. And unless he decides that he's going to stay and throw short, he's going to have a whole lot of trouble. This is a tough defense to try and hit the big one against.
First 5 possessions have not gone well for Saskatchewan.
Well, it's tough for Kent Austin too. On you know, his behalf, he's 21 zip down, and he must feel like desperately he has to do something quickly, and sometimes it's so difficult to try and be patient.
1st and 10. Stampeders at the 25. Flutie is okay. near side, and Flutie is off the mark. Keevan Jenkins, the intended receiver. Cornerback Albert Brown had no problem with Jenkins that time. A milestone tonight. Beer on sale at Taylor Field for the first time. First time alcohol has been consumed in this building.
It's low alcohol, I think.
Legally.
Yeah. Low alcohol beer, though, I think.
It is.
Well, that's good to know. It's a chilly night, though. I don't think the beer sales are going to be too high.
Second and 10. Flutie steps up. Carl Bland makes the reception. That'll be another Stampeder first down. Albert Brown dragging Bland down.
I think the most difficult task Doug Flutie might have this season is trying to keep everybody happy on that offense. I mean, you look at that receiving core and backfield. I mean, every single player is like an all-star. So the most difficult thing he may have is to keep everybody's attention.
So far, so good. He's doing a good job. He's used 5 receivers tonight and thrown touchdowns to 3 different receivers. Now Keevan Jenkins on the run across midfield, and Jenkins deep into Saskatchewan territory as he crosses the 40. Mark Scott made the tackle.
Well, and I think it's time to talk about this revamped line of the Calgary Stampeders. A real question mark heading into the season, but the changes they have made have been tremendous. And that time Rocco Romano and Bob McDonald, Bruce Covington on the left side open a huge hole for Keevan Jenkins. They have done an excellent job at protecting Flutie for the most part in this first half. So, boy, there you see number 60, Bruce Covington, all 6'5", 294 pounds. He has filled literally a huge spot on that offensive left tackle spot.
They feel he's going to be a terrific talent in the Canadian Football League, the #1 pick in the class of '92. Bruce Covington making his first start in Canadian football tonight. 3-minute warning is up. Calgary Stampeders all over the Roughriders so far. It's 21-0 Calgary at Taylor Field, Regina. We kick off a new year in Canadian football. Welcome to 1992. And the Calgary Stampeders look like the dream team in the West.
They really do. You look through that entire roster and, you know, everybody talks about offensively how well they will do. They are so solid everywhere else. Look at that, rushing yards. And, you know, you think of Calgary as a team that will just fill the air with footballs, but so far in the first half, they've had some success on the ground as well.
Keevan Jenkins had 34 on the last carry. There's Big Ty. Same number, different colors.
It's tough to get used to him in a green jersey.
He led the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in quarterback sacks in the last 2 years, and he hasn't gotten to Flutie so far tonight. First and 10, Stampeders, Saskatchewan 39. Flutie far side, on target again, and Jenkins very close to a first down. Mark Scott, number 17, forced Jenkins out.
Calgary is throwing so many multiple offensive sets at the Saskatchewan defense. I think they're really confusing them at times. That time Alan Pitts was in as a blocking back, and Keevan Jenkins went out in a pass pattern. The Saskatchewan defense was fooled. It was an easy reception for Jenkins to make and an easy target for Flutie to find.
Great numbers for Doug Flutie last year with the BC Lions. As he set all kinds of CFL records, including most yards in a season, passing 6,619. Hard to believe, isn't it?
I think the only regret he had in coming to Calgary was leaving brother Darren behind. He said, you know, it's not often that you get a chance to play professionally with your brother, and it was really too bad that I had to move on. And of course, Darren's still with the BC Lions, but that was the only regret that he had about his move.
Slightly short. It'll be second down and inches to go with 2:45 till the half. The Calgary Stampeders offense has been all over the revamped Saskatchewan defense so far tonight. Don Matthews called it a total overhaul. He has 6 changes defensively on a defense that gave up a record 8,035 yards last year.
There's the 6-back offense now. 3 receivers stacked on either side.
It'll be a first down for the Calgary Stampeders. Stay with us at halftime for a sports updates, and we'll bring you the entertainers. Bob Poley sings. You can catch it here on TSN with your host, Daryl K. Smith, at halftime on the entertainers. And we'll give you a chance to vote for your favorite between Sapunjas and Poley. 6 receivers in for Doug Flutie now. Which one will he choose?
27.
First and 10, Stampeders, Saskatchewan 27. A little pressure on Flutie, away from 1. And Flutie fires while falling. He's intercepted for the first time. Kim McLeod finally exacting a little bit of revenge. He's been beaten a couple of times tonight. Big interception for the Roughriders. Sapunjas might have been wide open here, but Flutie fell.
Dave Sapunjas finally came open, and one of the tough things about playing against Flutie, he buys so much time, but just as he goes to throw, he slips, and there is no velocity on that football whatsoever. Kim McLeod gets a little vengeance there. He has been victimized a couple of times tonight, and now he finally gets some measure of satisfaction as he gets his first interception of the year.
Long way for the Roughriders to go, though, beginning this drive at the 25. 2:12 to go in the first half. Milson Jones better than halfway to a first down. Matt Finley leading the Calgary tacklers, number 37.
5, second and 5.
They call it a gain of 5, second and 5. Lucius Floyd makes the catch. And Darrell Hall makes the tackle. It'll be a first down for the Roughriders. A minute 58 till halftime. Saskatchewan down by 21 points. From the 38, Boston first down. To Lucius Floyd coming out of the backfield. He slipped and was easily pinned for a loss. Kenton Leonard coming up from his left halfback spot.
Loss on the play, 4, second and 14. All to 35.
A minute 45. Second and 13, Saskatchewan. Boston far side. Floyd makes the catch this time, and he'll be stopped short of a first down by Matt Finley.
Extremely tough for Kent Austin. Second and 15 yards. I mean, this is a defense that just will not allow itself to give up the big play. And boy, when you're faced with that situation, you have one alternative: throw underneath. And unfortunately for the Roughriders, very difficult to pick up 15 yards. So Kent Austin will trot off the field once again, and he has just had a tough first half.
On third down, Lasecki. Pretty good kick. And there's no return for number 86, Pee Wee Smith. Stampeders get the ball back at the 27 with a minute 25 to go. 33-yard punt for Mike Lasecki.
And a minute and 25 seconds for a Doug Flutie is an awful lot of time. And you know, with a 21-point lead, he would love to take his team downfield quickly. He is so good at the hurry-up offense, and he has a great group that responds to it.
Stampeders 2-1 through the preseason, beating the Argos twice, once in Portland, once in Calgary, and losing to the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Ivor Wynn. From the 27, Keevan Jenkins, stopped by James King, number 41.
Okay, it was 23.
Wally has got everything going so far tonight.
Well, it's July. You see, Wally Buono as the head coach has never lost a game in July.
Last one, I think.
I don't think so. None. Zip. 0. There it is.
Well, there you
so
go.
if you play for Wally Buono, I guess you kind of figure that July should be a pretty good month.
Great start last season for the Stampeders. They went 6 games before suffering their first loss. Second and 4, and Flutie off target for Dave Sapunjas that time.
Pass intended for 25, David Sapunjas. Complete covering for 2, Stacey Hairston.
Tyrone Jones really hasn't been able to generate much pressure on Doug Flutie tonight. This time coming on the blitz, there's Luke Cafazzo, the converted defensive lineman, to an offensive guard spot. He does a pretty good job, and Tyrone Jones gets there not in time. Nevertheless, the pass incomplete.
Willis Jaycox, deep for Tony Martino's kick. 57 seconds till halftime. Jaycox was second in all-purpose yardage last season to the Rocket. Out near midfield.
Still time with 48 seconds left for Ken Austin. He's got great field position. One of the few times he's been able to start right at midfield, and with 48 seconds, you'd love to see him at least work his offense into field goal range for Dave Ridgway, who we have not seen on the field tonight. Boy, they have to try and go into the locker room at halftime with some kind of positive feeling, and this would certainly go a long way to helping that.
This is Floyd under the cover. Stopped short of the first down by Errol Tucker, number 3.
Yeah, these are the kinds of plays that Austin has to stay with. When he's gone deep, he has been victimized by interceptions. Lucius Floyd, Milson Jones, great receivers out of the backfield. You have to use them wisely. There it is.
2nd and 2, and Jones has a first down for the Roughriders. Still going as he gets across about 40. 31 seconds till the half. Gain of 12 yards.
It's
And the Roughriders would look pretty good with 7 points if they can finish off this drive.
1st and 10, Saskatchewan on this.
Well, it's not a difficult game to figure out. If the defense is going to play soft, you have to somehow force them to come up and play a little tighter, and this will do it.
Narcisse close to another Saskatchewan first down. We'll see where they spot it. Matt Finlay made the tackle for the Stampeders.
Matt Finlay. We'll take a look at it with the measuring sticks.
Don Narcisse, second time he has caught the hook pattern tonight. Really nothing fancy about this. Just slide it to the inside and kind of a semi-slant hook and good ball possession type of offensive play.
It looks like it's going to be a 2nd down. Narcisse less than a yard short of the first. 23 seconds till the half. And this has been a fairly impressive Rough Rider drive.
2nd down.
Late in the 2nd quarter. Austin for Milson Jones. And Jones right over Matt Finlay.
Well, I think Alondra Johnson got away with one. Milson Jones was definitely out of bounds, and he took a bit of a free shot at Milson, who was pointing that out to the official. But regardless of that lack of a call, a good call by Ken Austin. And Milson Jones so good at running the football after he's caught it on the swing pass. Austin recognizes a soft defense, boom, quickly out to Milson Jones. He has a full head of steam and questionably the most impressive drive that they've been able to put together tonight. Yeah, that should have been roughing.
15 seconds to go. 1st and 10 at the 14. Austin to the goal line. Touchdown. Ray Elgard. A little something to cheer about at last. Yard touchdown. Here's how it looked.
Good protection for Ken Austin to step up and get a good view downfield of Ray Elgard, and he just uses his big size to get position on Greg Peterson. The Rough Riders are finally on the board, and we have ourselves a football game as we come to almost a close here in the 2nd quarter. Ray Elgard, nice job to shield away Greg Peterson and come up with that touchdown catch.
All-time leading Rough Rider receiver Ray Elgard. Over 1,000 yards again. And he played just 13 games.
What a critical series that was for Saskatchewan. They have been trying like heck to get back into this football. Time Austin did the smart thing. He went underneath the defense, picked away at it, and finally it culminates with the touchdown reception by Ray Elgard, and they will be able to go into the locker room and try and build on a very positive last 48 seconds here in the first half.
Yeah, give Milson Jones a little credit for keeping that drive going. Couple of catches, and Milson a full head of steam to get the Roughriders within striking distance.
You know, I think the fact that he lost 20-odd pounds there has helped him. I mean, he was always pretty fast when he got a full head of steam, but he looks even quicker this year.
Ridgway keeps it along the ground to try and eliminate a Stampeder return. That's Derek Crawford. And 6 seconds remain at the half.
Oh, here it comes.
One of the few times that Calgary allowed themselves to get into an unfavorable matchup, and that is Greg Peterson covering Ray Elgard, and you see the result. Elgard, a good job to shield Peterson off. He makes the touchdown catch, and the Roughriders finally are back in this one.
21-7 right now. That should be the halftime score. Stampeders scored the first 3 touchdowns. Doug Flutie hitting Pitts, Crawford, and Keevan Jenkins. Ray Elgard got the lone Saskatchewan touchdown in the final minute of the opening half.
Second down and 12.
Should be the last play. And Stampeders will surrender the football. So Flutie got the first 21 points on the board with 3 touchdown tosses. Roughriders got the final touchdown, and it's a 14-point difference at the half. 35. Deacon, what a great start Doug Flutie had for the Stampeders here tonight.
Yes, he did. Doug's a fine quarterback. Very difficult to catch. I'm sure happy I don't have to chase him, because a big field like this, he's tough.
Deacon is one of the greatest defensive linemen in the history of the National Football League. Tell me about that last call. Now, you're a defensive expert.
Well, I would have been a little bit angry if I was on the field right now, but I don't know if I know the rules well enough to challenge that call, but he looked like it was pass interference to me all the way.
1st and 10, Stampeders at the 36. Flutie steps up and fires. It'll be a first down for Sean Beals.
Sean Beals, 88.
Deacon, tell us how you ended up in Calgary.
Well, you know, Larry Rickman and I are very good friends, and we've been friends for a long time, and he decided to get in football, and I wanted to get back into football. And I was very, very delighted to come to Calgary, because the people are so nice, and we're getting our fans back. The enthusiasm is real high in Calgary right now, and we're looking forward to a great year.
1st and 10, Stampeders from the 47-yard line. Calgary leading by a touchdown. This is Keevan Jenkins away from 1 tackle. He's across midfield and brought down by number 97, Robert Banks. There's your pal, Deacon.
Yes, that's him. He's done a fine job with this football team, and we're very, very happy with it, and we're working very hard in Calgary to get our fans back.
Well, I thought about Canadian football. Do you like this game?
I love this game. I tell you, I like the passing in it, you know. Being a sacker of the old days, I would have got probably double my sack total with all these passes, you know.
Stampeders are 2nd and 1, and Flutie should have the first down.
Let me ask you one more question before we let you go, Deacon. You were in Portland with the Stampeders when we played the preseason game down there. What was the reaction from some of your friends in Portland to the Canadian Football League?
Well, you know, I did several radio shows, call-in shows down there, and probably 95 to 98% of the fans really was enthusiastic about the game, and they're looking forward to getting a franchise. And you know, I used to play exhibition games in Portland when I played with the Rams, and there's some fine football fans there, and we'll do real well down there, I think.
Well, listen, we thank you for coming by and visiting with us. We wish you all the best with your new role with the Calgary Stampeders, and we'll see you throughout the course of the season.
Thank you, and you guys are doing a heck of a job.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Thank you, Deacon Jones. The NFL's all-time leading sack leader is the Secretary of Defense for the Calgary Stampeders.
I like it. Hey,
Good
listen,
title.
They are creating in so many ways interest in Calgary, and Deacon Jones, of course, is one of the big reasons why the Stampeders are a hot ticket again in Calgary.
And the Stampeders on a roll right now. This is 1st and 10 at the 53. Flutie flares one out of the backfield for Keevan Jenkins, and he couldn't hang on. Should have made that catch.
Jenkins trying to handle. Second down and 10.
Momentum has shifted a little bit here late in the second quarter. Saskatchewan gets themselves back in the game with the touchdown, and now early Byron K. Williams with his touchdown reception, and now little plays like this help to keep that momentum shift going. Keevan Jenkins should have been able to catch that football. Now Calgary, which has not found themselves in this situation too often tonight, are in a 2nd and 10.
A big play for the Rough Rider defense right here. From the 53, Flutie shotgun. Alan Pitts makes the catch near the 25 in front of Albert Brown. Good hit by Brown, but Pitts comes up with a catch.
And really the key is the lack of pressure from the front 7 of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It comes late from Bobby Jurison, but really, for all intents and purposes, Calgary has protected Doug Flutie well tonight. Here's the pressure finally, but Flutie had all day to stand in the pocket and pick up Alan Pitts, who found the seam in the zone. There he gets in behind Glenn Suter. Easy pickings for Doug Flutie and Alan Pitts.
26 yards for Pitts. That sets up the Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 26 as Flutie throws on the run for Keevan Jenkins. And he is inside the 15, brought down by middle linebacker James King. He's new in the middle with the Saskatchewan Roughriders this season.
Yeah, Eddie Lowe retired, so it created an opportunity for James King to move into the middle, and that is an offensive set that they have used for the 2nd time tonight. Alan Pitts goes in as a tight end, and he blocks up, and this allows Keevan Jenkins to get out of the backfield quickly. It's a good matchup for Calgary against a linebacker. Saskatchewan has not been able to shut that particular offensive set down.
And another Stampeder first down. 6-pack of receivers in for Doug Flutie, and he carries himself. The quarterback draws. Flutie is down near the 2. And King makes the tackle once more.
That's a super call by Doug Flutie. The 6-pack is in, 3 receivers spread out to either side of the field. That creates a huge opening in the middle. Doug Flutie on the quarterback draw, and it's a nice looking play, but somebody moved a little early. Illegal procedure. It will come back. Big break for Saskatchewan.
Illegal procedure. It is a big break for the Roughriders with 7:29 to go in the 3rd quarter.
First down repeated.
Procedure call against Calgary. And that'll make it 1st and 15.
You know, if you're going to be a good defense, and we have no idea if that is going to be the case for Saskatchewan, you have to take advantage of a break like this. Calgary looked like they were going to score. Now it's 1st and 15. Saskatchewan has to tighten it down if they're going to be considered a good defense.
Another flag is Flutie. Completes for Derek Crawford. Another penalty going against the Stampeders. Holding this time.
Holding. Calgary number 31. First down repeated.
Dwayne Ford, who was in at the running back position, gets caught for the holding. And Calgary, a team that very rarely beats itself, finds itself with back-to-back penalties, and they have pushed themselves back to the 26-yard line, which is a huge break for the Saskatchewan defense.
Stamps leading by a touchdown. Face 1st and 25. Alan Pitts stopped at the 20. Stacey Hairston up from his left halfback spot to make the tackle that time.
Assisted by James King.
Hairston played the corner on the left side for his first 2 seasons in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, he lost out in a battle with Benson Donaldson, but he is such a good one-on-one guy that they said, well, listen, we can't get rid of him, so we'll just move him to inside and let him play the safety spot.
For Doug Flutie, 2nd and 13. Stampeders leading 21-14. Draw for Keevan Jenkins. Read well by the Roughriders. So Flutie was down to the 2-yard line, but a couple of penalties forced the Stampeders into a field goal situation where it looked like they might have had a touchdown.
So obviously Doug Flutie decided that the 2 back-to-back penalties were too much to overcome. He goes with the draw play, and they cannot pick up a first down, so Mark McLaughlin comes in for his first field goal try of the 92 season.
McLaughlin missed one, remember?
Oh, yeah, he was short.
Way short. Sorry about that. No problem this time as Mark McLaughlin adds to the Calgary Stampeder lead. It's now a 10-point advantage with Calgary in front, 24-14. Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina as we kick off the 1992 season in Canadian football.
Mark McLaughlin to the ball.
Willis Jaycox. He's got room down the sidelines. And he actually fell, pinned by Dave Sapunjas. Mark McLaughlin was getting over there to make that bone-crushing tackle, but he didn't have to.
So I think the Saskatchewan Roughriders should feel very fortunate. It looked as though a touchdown was going to be scored against them. They ended up only giving up a field goal, and now with a tremendous kickoff return by Willis Jaycox, they begin this drive from Calgary's 40.
Stopped by Kenton Leonard, but Fairholm has the first, and the Roughriders are inside the Calgary 35.
Fairholm goes to the inside and does a pirouette pivot back to the outside. Kenton Leonard cannot stay with him, and a nice catch and run.
And Milson Jones met by Matt Finley. Finley might be shaken up on the play. Jones has been effective coming out of the backfield in receiving assignments from Kent Austin.
But he really has, you know, says an offense, sometimes you can't always do what you want to do. I mean, I know Kent Austin would love to throw posts and streaks down the sidelines and all the glamorous type of pass patterns.
All those pretty passes.
Yeah, that's it. But sometimes you have to be patient, and he has used Milson Jones very wisely tonight and picked up some good yardage in the process.
Matt Finley being attended to by the Stampeder medical staff. Following tonight's game at Taylor Field, we'll present the TSN Turning Points. Brought to you by Sony. We'll see if we can find out what happened to Matt Finley here.
Just toss him into the souvenir booth or hand him to a hostess. Thank you. The rest of us?
Hard to tell. Milson Jones, a tough guy to bring down. Finley caused a loss of 1 yard, but he'll head to the sidelines now.
Well, he really worked hard in the offseason to increase his speed, and for a linebacker of pretty decent size at 6'2", 2 1/4, he got it down to a 4.4 speed in the 40, and that is exceptionally fast. Hopefully he is all right. Looks as though he's in not too bad shape as he leaves the field, and he will be back shortly.
This is 2nd and 11 facing Kent Austin now. Big pressure on Austin, and he was forced to unload in a hurry. Byron K. Williams was the intended receiver. So this drive will end with 4:35 to play, third quarter at Taylor Field. Roughriders trailing by 10 at 24-14. Dave Ridgway is in. He is on pretty good streak right now, going back to last season. Regular season field goals, he has 18 of his last 18. And make that 19 for his last 19. A 42-yarder for Dave Ridgway, and that matches Mark McLaughlin's field goal, and it's back to a touchdown, separating Calgary and Saskatchewan.
He should win.
He might get into the contest before the season's over.
I thought they were both very good. Bob Poley, you know, he did that song of his from the Long Branch, and what he was not able to tell you is that he is the owner of the Long Branch.
So if you're in town, stop by and see him. He'll likely be there.
Not singing, though.
Pee-wee Smith. Smith sidestepping. He's out to the 35 and across. John Hoffman leading the Saskatchewan tacklers, but the Stampeders will be first down out near the 36.
Injury update from the Calgary sideline. Matt Finley has aggravated a sprained ankle he came into this game with. He should be back, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone away from their man-to-man defense. They're playing zone, and that's what's causing Doug Flutie so many troubles. He's got to be more patient. He's saying throw underneath the coverage.
Sounds like a good plan.
From the 36, Stampeders lead it by a touchdown. Keevan Jenkins, Rasevich got him and slowed him down. Robert Banks, number 97, was also there, and so was Ty Jones. They don't say Jonesy in the Saskatchewan dressing room this year. You got your Warren Jones, your Milson Jones, your Tyrone Jones, the Jones boys. Gain is 2, 2nd and 8. Flutie from the shotgun. Nice deep defensive play. Glenn Suter coming over on top of Sean Beals to knock it away. All-Canadian last year, Glenn Suter.
And just as Gord Miller told you, Saskatchewan has gone to more of his own defense here in the second half, and Glenn Suter plays the deep center field, reacts to the football in the air, and makes just a heck of a play to knock that one away. The sports director of CJME Radio here, he said, the only thing I hate about this job, I got to get up at 4:30 every morning. And I said, hey, Glenn, I said, welcome to the real world, you know.
Life in the media.
Sure.
Tony Martino, good kick. Chasing Jaycox back to the 26. Jaycox has been slippery on returns, breaks away again. He's got a blocker in front. There's a flag down. Jaycox looking to the end zone. Can he make it? Sapunjas caught him from behind. There is a flag down near the 40-yard line. Jaycox has had a great night. An 80-yard return.
Back by 25 Davis to Butcher. Penalty call coming up.
What a great return. Unfortunately for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, this one will come back, and a lot of yardage is lost.
Major foul, face mask, Saskatchewan number 47. First down.
Glenn Suter called on a face mask. So the Jaycox run goes all the way back, and the Roughriders are right back in their own zone and down by a touchdown. Glenn Suter will be all over me. I said it was the infraction against him. I thought Dave Ewell said number 27. In fact, number 47. And that cost the Roughriders an awful lot of yardage, Lee.
About 95 to be exact. You won't see the infraction Kelly Trithard called on a face masking, but what a nice play by Willis Jaycox, who's done a super job tonight returning kickoffs and punts. Good effort by Dave Sapunjas to track him down from behind, but when we come back to live action, you will see that the ball is all the way back to the 13-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that translates into 95 yards back from where it might have been.
Yes, down near the 14-yard line, or actually inside the 10. Right down there with the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Spotted the ball right there. That's where Jaycox was caught by Dave Sapunjas.
They would have liked that.
That's right. Pretty good ball game going here at Taylor Field. The Roughriders off to a slow start. They fell behind 21-0. But Austin has brought them back with 17 points. 1st and 10 for Austin and the Roughriders now. Good one-handed catch by Lucius Floyd. Short of the first down, but good yardage for the Roughriders anyways. Deacon Jones has made his way down to the sidelines. He was up chatting with us.
I want to show my vicious side.
He is a big man.
Yeah,
I stood up beside him when we were chatting up here in the press box. He is a large fellow.
All the way down, please.
Gain was 8 yards for the Roughriders. This is 2nd and 2. Austin onto the cover, and Floyd can't make the catch. Good coverage by Carl Anthony. So the Roughriders send on the kicking team.
Right return. One return. One return. Right. One return. One return. One return. One return.
1:52 to go in the 3rd quarter, with the Stampeders in front by a touchdown, 24-17. Mike Lozecki back at his 6-yard line. Good kick. On the return for Calgary, Pee Wee Smith. Tyrone Jones couldn't make the tackle, but he forced the play to the outside, and that was enough to limit the gain for Pee Wee Smith. 45-yard boomer for Mike Lozecki.
There's Ken Leonard, the fine defensive back of the Calgary Stampeders, and he himself is a diabetic, and he does a lot of work with the Canadian Diabetic Association. he is having a golf tournament. So for all you people in the Calgary area that would like to participate in this for an extremely worthwhile cause, there is the number to call for tickets or donations, and good cause. About to get a round of golf in with Kenton.
Yeah, maybe we can get there in time. Penalty markers are down on 1st and 10 from the 49 for the Stampeders. And it looks like a procedure call. Flutie was on fire in the first half, first quarter in particular. And the Rough Rider defense has made some adjustments and caused him
Illegal procedure.
a little bit of a
Calgary
problem.
number 64.
They have.
First down repeated.
Doug Flutie had an extremely good offensive package ready for what he expected would be that attacking man-to-man style of defense, which he did see in the first half, which he victimized in the first half. Saskatchewan has gone to a softer defense here in the second half, relying on their defensive backs and linebackers to play in their zones and react to the football. They have been more successful, and Doug Flutie's numbers have dwindled.
Procedure call makes it 1st and 15. Stampeders from the shotgun. Flutie over the middle, on target at midfield to Alan Pitts. King and Suter met at the receiver to make the tackle for the Rough Riders.
And this is why Alan Pitts is such a difficult receiver to keep in check. You know, man-to-man, we know what he can do. We've seen him earlier eat up a Kim McLeod for a touchdown, but against the zone, he is equally as good. As he knows where to find the open spots. He sat just in between the linebackers, James King and Tyrone Jones, and it was an easy reception for him to make. Those are his numbers on the evening. Good start to the season for him.
And 13 yards on the previous play. This is 2nd and 2. Andy McVeigh goes for the first down and gets it for Calgary. First carry for McVeigh, forced out by Kim McLeod. Good call by the Stampeders.
Bobby Jurison is trimmed down about 20 pounds for some more quickness. There he fights off the block of Bruce Covington. But he is not able to track down Andy McVeigh out of the backfield. He was in perfect position but couldn't make the play.
1st and 10 Stampeders, Saskatchewan 39. This should be the last play of the third quarter. Shotgun again for Flutie. Room to run. Not this time. Rasevich up to put the head on Doug Flutie, and he's been shaken up a couple of times tonight. Not seriously, but that'll be the end of the third quarter. So the Rough Riders defense holds once more, and Saskatchewan stays within a touchdown of the Calgary Stampeders as we get ready for the final quarter at Taylor Field. Saskatchewan Rough Rider defense gave up 21 points in the first half, only 3 in the third quarter. Second down, 13 to go for the Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 42. Flutie swings it out for Keevan Jenkins. Tyrone Jones got to him and held him short of the first down. How's the matchup shaping up?
Well, they run a stunt here. Bobby Jurison down to the inside, and Gary Lewis loops to the outside. Kenny Moore with a pretty good hold on Jurison. He doesn't get called for it. And for the most part tonight, I think you'd have to give Kenny Moore the edge simply because Saskatchewan hasn't been able to put a lot of pressure on Doug Flutie.
Mark McLaughlin now. A 39-yard field goal drive. And this one is good. So that's 2 of the night for McLaughlin. 2 of 3. 10-point advantage for the Stampeders once more. Numbers through 3 quarters. On the scoreboard, 27-17 for the Stampeders. And after a hot start, the Stampeders offense has cooled some compared to 301 for Saskatchewan. And the Stampeders have the advantage in time of possession as well. 1st and 10, Kent Austin for Milson Jones. Big workhorse for the Rough Riders tonight. Short of the first down. Caught from behind by Matt Finley.
It's all good to see Matt Finley back in the game. He went out with the sprained ankle. He is back, and Milson Jones this time has to stay down for some medical attention. But Matt Finley with the Stampeders all 7 years of his professional career, and As I mentioned earlier, really worked hard in the offseason to increase his speed to be able to cover those backs and inside receivers when he's called upon. He's down to about a 4.4, which is extremely fast for a linebacker.
Jones 8 receptions for 60 yards so far tonight. Maybe we can see what happened to him when Finley got him from behind.
Yeah, Milson got him earlier. Now Finley, he's back there. You see Sireko Zizakovic lands on the back of Milson Jones' ankle as he goes down, and I'm sure that's what caused it.
Likeable Milson Jones. Stops in Winnipeg and Edmonton before joining the Saskatchewan Roughriders. In his 5th season in Regina. Out of North Dakota. Number 26, David Pitcher, comes in for Milson Jones. He picked up 7 before he was brought down. This is 2nd and 3 for the Roughriders at the Saskatchewan 42. Jeff Fairholm, and that'll be a Rough Rider first down near midfield. Carl Anthony having a strong game for the Stampeders on the tackle that time.
Ken Austin going to the hurry-up style of offense to maybe inhibit the Calgary defense from making some calls and adjustments. Ooh.
Floyd made the catch, and Darryl Hall made the hit. Wham!
Now, if anybody was wondering if Darryl Hall could play at a linebacker spot and take on the responsibilities of tackling, I think that settled the issue right there. Pretty big hit on Lucius Floyd. Wow, textbook.
Floyd picked up 5. This is 2nd and 5 for Kent Austin. Just across midfield. Ray Elgard. And that'll be another Rough Rider first down. Short passing game has worked very effectively for the Rough Riders. And again, it was Darryl Hall on the tackle on Ray Elgard.
And Ray Elgard really uses one of his strengths right here, and that is to push into the cover man. This case was Darryl Hall. Use his strength to push off and get to an open spot. That's what he did right there.
First down. And Jeff Fairholm has another Rough Rider first down on the Calgary 30. Andrew Johnson and Carl Anthony.
And very quickly, Kent Austin is putting together a nice drive here. A real lack of pressure from the Calgary front four, allowing Austin perfect sight lines downfield to pick up his receivers. And Jeff Fairholm with his 2nd catch on this drive.
Gain of 15 yards. 1st and 10 Rough Riders, far side this time. Lucius Floyd. Gain of close to 5, Carl Anthony on the tackle for Calgary again. And Austin has been impressive on this drive.
And really the key for him has been better production on first down. There is a flag on that play, but he has not been faced with 2nd and long. He's been getting good 6-7 yards on first down. And of course, for quarterback, as everyone realizes, that can make your life a whole lot easier.
We await the call from referee Dave Ewell.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 80. First down repeated.
Don Narcisse was called for offside on that play, but no key when you look at Saskatchewan's offense. If the inside slot backs have a good night, chances are the entire offense did, and I would say 9 catches, maybe a little below what they would expect from them.
Austin on 1st and 15, and he fired that short. Byron K. Williams.
2nd and 15.
Austin's numbers so far, 32 of 46, 341 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Really hurt the Rough Riders early in this game.
So a huge play for Saskatchewan right now. They trail by 10, and they are 2nd and 15 deep in Calgary's territory. It's a situation where Calgary usually likes to drop off and keep everybody underneath them.
Austin deep. Fairholm, the intended receiver. He was slowed up by the Calgary secondary. Been a miscommunication there, Leaf.
Jeff Fairholm was running the hook, and all of a sudden he decided to turn it up, and it looked as though he was home free, but a little collision impeded him from getting close to that Ken Austin reception.
Austin not too happy on the sidelines. Ridgway is in. A 40-yard field goal try with Glenn Suter holding. And it's good.
Right off the crossbar. How about that? Take them any way you can get them. It wasn't pretty, but it counts.
Off the crossbar and in, it counts. And a touchdown separating the Calgary Stampeders and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A little Ridgway luck right there. Finally materialized at Taylor Field, Regina. A light rain falling now. The Roughriders are right back in the ball game at 27-20. Stampeders into the lead. Did I say light rain? A little different view on that shot.
I think, you know, as you look at how this game has progressed, you have to give the Saskatchewan Roughriders a great deal of credit. Trailing 21-0 to a very, very fine football team in the Calgary Stampeders. They have fought their way back into this one and trail by 7 with 10:34 remaining in the fourth quarter with an extremely good chance of tying or maybe pulling out a victory, but give them credit. They're a team that's trying to find an identity, and I think that they should be pleased with the way they've been able to fight back and get back in this game.
Dave Ridgway has a couple of field goals. Rider defense struggled in the opening quarter against the Stampeders. Doug Flutie picking holes in a defense with 6 new faces. The Riders storm back to stay within a touchdown. Pee-wee Smith out to the 55. Albert Brown leading the Rough Rider tacklers.
I think it's really interesting to note that the attack style of defense just simply didn't work in the first half for Saskatchewan. The adjustments they made were to soften their defense up, play more of a zone, sit off those receivers a little more. And I know it's not the style of defense that Don Matthews wants to play, but certainly it has been much more effective for him.
Yeah, it's not the defense they advertised.
No.
In Saskatchewan.
But give them credit, you know, they're willing to change.
From the 54, Flutie on first down. Keevan Jenkins. And he'll have another Calgary first down.
He bobbled the ball as he was going down, but lucky enough to recover himself. And Doug Flutie, he's a pretty smart cookie too, and he realizes that Saskatchewan has changed their plan. They are playing a lot softer, so the little dump passes, the screens, those types of plays are the ones that are going to be successful, and he sure was with a little pass to Keevan Jenkins.
From the 44, first and 10, Calgary. Jurison, pressure on Flutie. He was forced to fire in a hurry. Sean Beals was the closest Calgary receiver, but the play was made by Jurison.
Tyrone Jones was getting a good push straight up the middle. That's one of the features they will do with Jones. He will line up all over the place and try and confuse the blocking schemes of the Calgary Stampeders, and they just absolutely collapsed the pocket all around Doug Flutie, and he had no chance. You see Flutie step up, and he knows the pressure's coming. He just dumped that ball away to avoid the loss.
Second and 10, Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 44. Calgary leading by a touchdown. Shotgun, Flutie. Carl Bland in front of Donaldson, number 24. And that'll be a Stampeder first down.
And what a disciplined pass pattern that was by Carl Bland. He knew exactly how far he had to go for the first down. 10 yards, he went down about 13 and then made his break, came back to the quarterback, kept that separation he had created, and a very disciplined pass pattern by Carl Bland. What an addition he was to their offense late last year, and of course now as a full-time starter this year.
909 yards receiving last year for Carl Bland. On first down, it's picked off. Oh, couldn't hang on. Coverage by Benson Donaldson. Thought he had the interception.
Well, he played it perfectly. He stayed right on the inside hip of Derek Crawford and then broke to the football at the last second and almost came up with the interception. Flutie made the right read, though. Saskatchewan blitzing and playing very close coverage on all the receivers. He picked out the right one. He just didn't throw it far enough. Good play by Donaldson.
It almost bounced through to Crawford there. Second and 10. Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 32. Calgary leading 27-20. 6 receivers in for the Stampeders. Flutie from the shotgun. Quarterback drop. And he's inside the 20 for another Calgary first down. He's worked that play effectively a couple of times tonight.
Well, it's a good call. I mean, he's got the 6-pack offense in. Everything is so spread out that really you only need a little seam on that quarterback draw and you can go a long way. That time he got just enough. They pick up the first down. They keep the drive going, but Doug Flutie in such command all the time on the field.
Don Matthews, in his first full season as the Roughriders head coach, 5 wins and 6 losses in Saskatchewan last year. First down. And nowhere to go for Dwayne Ford. James King, the Riders' new middle linebacker, met Dwayne Ford right in the hole.
Well, there's so many instances in a ball game that you may look back and say, well, that was a point in the game where we turned it around or we made the play to win the ball game. And I think trailing by 7 here with 2nd and 11, Saskatchewan defense is really going to be called upon to do something spectacular and try and keep Doug Flutie at least to a field goal at this point.
Pressure on Flutie again, and Pitts can't make the catch. Working in front of Kim McLeod. Flutie had to fire in a hurry.
And all the different defensive fronts that they've shown Calgary tonight finally confused them, and Bobby Jurison was left all alone as he came in and put some pressure on Flutie. The ball was behind Pitts. He couldn't hang on, so the Saskatchewan defense did their job.
6:38 to go, 4th quarter. Mark McLaughlin. A 28-yard try this time. And the Stampeders are back in front by 10 points. McLaughlin and Ridgway have traded field goals much of the second half. Right now, it's a 30-20 lead for the Stampeders. Kicking off a new season, the CFL, our game of the week live from Taylor Field in Regina. Good one so far. Stampeders in front by 10 points with 6:26 to play in the 4th quarter. A big Rough Rider comeback after falling behind 21-0.
Well, they've done a nice job, but with only 6:26 to go, they have to at least score twice to tie this ball game up, and pretty tall order for Ken Austin.
Willis Jaycox has had a couple of good kick returns so far tonight. If they get another one here, get some field position, he'll have lots of time.
And don't think that Mark McLaughlin, the kicker, is he's noticed that. He knows what Jaycox can do, and I think that's made him a little nervous. He kind of shanks that one out of bounds. He will go back 5 more yards, and Saskatchewan Roughriders will get a nice opportunity to return this one. I don't think he wants to give it to Willis.
No. Had a big one called back, a big punt return called
Illegal
back.
kickoff.
But you know, as a kicker, I don't think you can worry about those things. I think you have to say, look, I'm going to kick it where I'm told to kick it, and my cover guys have to worry about Jaycox. I can't be responsible for that.
Jaycox had 2,779 all-purpose yards last season. Was 2nd in the CFL.
Penalty 5 yards.
The Rocket was number 1.
Jaycox can fly. Of course, he's got a lot of energy, too. Last year, he was playing wide receiver as well. This year, strictly returning kicks so far in the opener.
McLaughlin set to kick it off again. Kim McLeod had a bit of a shaky start, as you see number 29 down there, but he's been in and rather effective in the later stages of the game. This is Albert Brown. Brown can fly too as he crosses the 45.
46.
Yeah, he is a pretty good alternative for the Saskatchewan kick return team as well. Don't kick it to Jaycox. Albert Brown, he can get the job done. In the opener a year ago against Edmonton, he took the opening kickoff of this 1991 season, 97 yards for a touchdown. So, no question, he is a threat as well.
1st and 10 for the Rough Riders at the 47. Austin swings it out for Milson Jones back in the ball game. And Kent Leonard made the stop on Jones, the last about a yard. 30-20, Calgary leading Saskatchewan in the 1992 CFL season opener. Well, guess who won? Bob Poley for that Waylon Jennings rendition over Dave Sapunjas.
Way to go, Polecat. Not bad. Not bad.
Austin 2nd and 11. Wilson Jones. And the Roughriders into a kicking situation again.
No, it's very difficult for a quarterback. For 3 quarters, I've been maintaining that Kent Austin has to throw underneath the coverage and be a little more conservative in his attack, but there comes a time and a point in a game where you have to disregard some of that. There's 5:30 remaining. He trails by 10. He has to force it downfield and maybe take a few chances here.
You're saying that time is now, or was on the previous play.
Time is very critical here now. He can't afford to try and throw underneath and hope that a running back will break a tackle or two and pick up a first down. I think he has to take it upon himself to force the issue a little more.
Pee Wee Smith at the 20. Good coverage by the Roughriders, led by Tyrone Jones, a 40-yard punt by Mike Lozecki. And about 3 yards on the return. So 5:09 to play in the 4th quarter at Taylor Field, with the Stampeders 10 points in front of the hometown Roughriders. Yeah, I guess a few years from now, some would dream of getting a chance to be a quarterback like Doug Flutie.
He's had a good night. Slow second half, but he did a lot of
start.
Yes, sir.
A 10-point lead for Flutie and the Stampeders. At one point, they led 21-0. Numbers on Doug Flutie: 21 of 39, 289 yards, and 3 touchdown tosses.
And once again, the Saskatchewan defense is being asked to quickly stifle Doug Flutie and his offense and get the ball back for their offense. A little over 5 minutes remaining. They have to do a job in a hurry.
First down, Flutie hit as he throws for Dave Sapunjas. Sapunjas in across the 45-yard line. Offensive coordinator John Huffnagel has the Stampeders rolling again.
Doug Flutie waits and waits until David Sapunjas clears the linebacker Dan Rasevich right there, and then down the seam, Doug Flutie has the ball perfectly on target. And where the Saskatchewan Roughriders had them backed up, now that long 46-yard reception by David Sapunjas really hurts.
4:17 to go, 4th quarter, 1st and 10, Stampeders, Saskatchewan 45. That's Keevan Jenkins, another first down, and he could score. Keevan Jenkins, 2nd touchdown of the night.
It's a matchup that they've created for the 3rd time tonight, and it finally pays off with a touchdown. Every time they have shot Keevan Jenkins out into the flat, he has caught the football tonight. This time, it results in his 2nd touchdown. What a game he has had.
7 catches, 45 yards, and most importantly, 2 touchdowns. King missed the tackle. I don't know if Brown was surprised as Keevan raced down the sidelines. 122 yards for Keevan, I should say, 7 receptions.
It's a lot to ask from your middle linebacker to move all the way out and cover a speedy running back, and he gets into the flat with some motion, and James King just simply could not stay with him. It's tough defense to be in, and Doug Flutie caught them in the right spot. They pick up the blitz. There's Dwayne Ford, put a block on Tyrone Jones, and Keevan Jenkins just simply outruns James King, and that about does it.
It might about do it. 37-20 now. 2 touchdowns for Keevan Jenkins. And Flutie has used all his weapons tonight. He's got a few, too, doesn't he? Crawford, Pee Wee Smith, Carl Bland, wide receivers. Inside, Sean Beals and Dave Sapunjas, not to mention Alan Pitts.
Oh, he's been able to spread it out around, and I think the most gratifying thing for Doug Flutie and John Huffnagel, who is their offensive coordinator, is when they have gone into different sets, they have tried to create matchups very favorable for themselves, and every time they have done that, they've been able to hit it.
Willis Jaycox for the Roughriders with 4:03 to go, fourth quarter. Jaycox stopped near the 35. Greg Peterson was there, and Richie Hall, or Darryl Hall, was very far away.
You know, it's so tough for a team like Saskatchewan playing against Calgary. Against Calgary, you just simply can't make a lot of mistakes and expect to win the football game, and those 3 interceptions really have come back to haunt Kent Austin. There are his numbers, but the 3 interceptions were the real turning point in his game tonight.
The drop play to Milson Jones failed to work. Zreko's is a Kovac.
Jones stopped made by 95
Harold Hasselbeck. 3:32 to play, fourth quarter.
12. Don't forget to pick up your Olympic postcard and fill it up with your best wishes.
Oh, with the rain falling and the team trailing by 17, the exits start to fill in a hurry.
Milson Jones shaken up for the second time tonight. He's had a good evening. Calgary Stampeders will open at home against the Hamilton Tiger Cats next Thursday at McMahon Stadium. Game 2 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders on TSN Wednesday, July 15th. Austin for Lucius Floyd, away from 1 tackle, and we'll see if he gets the first down.
Austin to Floyd.
Boy, other teams watching this game tonight and watching the Calgary defense better take note. When they play against Calgary, they are going to have to be so patient in their attack. Calgary just will very rarely let themselves be beaten deep, and you have to pick away at that type of defense.
3 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Calgary Stampeders leading the Roughriders 37-20. Back for the final 3 minutes after this.
37-20. Interesting thing about the way football games change. You'll recall that Saskatchewan punted about 2 minutes ago. There was a discussion on the sideline here about faking it, but Don Matthews decided not to. So our defense has been keeping Flutie under pressure. We've bottled them up. Let's punt it, keep them deep, and we'll get the ball back in good field position. 2 plays later, Calgary scored, and that's the ball game. Matthews had a stunned look on his face as Calgary ripped through the Saskatchewan defense that really had kept Doug Flutie bottled up for much of this second half. Guys?
Well, how good could the Calgary Stampeders be offensively this season?
That's a scary question. I mean, they can be as good as they want to be. They have tremendous talents. They will be as good as few mistakes they make.
The receiving corps is rather outstanding, as we've seen a pretty good display tonight. 3rd and 1, facing the Roughriders. Lucius Floyd has the first down. He ran right into Alondra Johnson. There's a marker down. 2:53 to play in the fourth quarter at Taylor Field. Darryl Hall's adjustments to being a linebacker seems to be a fairly smooth transition so far.
Well, I think
Offside, Calgary number 90, first down.
I think it's a great one for Calgary because, I mean, he is physical enough to make tackles on the running play. I don't think they're worried about that, but it allows them.
Lucius Floyd takes the pass from Kent Austin with a penalty marker down.
What it allows the Calgary defense to do is to keep Greg Peterson, the middle safety, pretty much free all the time. They don't have to bind him in one-on-one coverage, and it really protects them deep against anything. Darryl Hall is quick enough, of course, to run with the inside receivers, to cover backs out of the backfield, and physical enough to play the run. So it was I think tactically an extremely astute move by the coaching staff of Calgary. I guess the only real thing was to find someone else who could take his spot in the defensive backfield, and Carl Anthony has done that. He has an interception and some knockdowns tonight, so the move looks like it is an excellent one.
Penalty against the Roughriders. This is 1st and 15 as Austin goes to the shotgun. David Pitcher makes the catch coming out of the backfield, number 26.
Open up your...
And Darrell Hall was the first Stampeder on Dave Pitcher. 2:40 to go in the 4th quarter.
No, not there, not there. No, put that there.
Stampeders in front, 37-20.
Okay.
We talked about interceptions. There were too many early for Kent Austin. 2nd and 8. Austin looks long. And too far for Don Narcisse. Narcisse trying double coverage in that Stampeders secondary.
Okay. You want to talk to Keith?
Well, you know, Kent Austin so desperately wants to, and has wanted to all evening long, complete a long pass, but this Calgary secondary just has said, no way you're getting a receiver in deep behind us, and that has been the case. And very frustrating for an Austin. He likes to generate offense himself, and he just hasn't really been able to do so tonight.
Mike Lazecki in for the Roughriders again. 2:28 to go, 4th quarter.
Upstairs.
This is Pee Wee Smith. Smith to the 50, inside the 40. One man to beat, and Lucius Floyd over to make the tackle on Pee Wee Smith. 2:08 to go, and the Stampeders get a chance to add to their total. Great start for Calgary last year, 6 straight victories, and they start off 1992 with another impressive showing.
And they keep Wally Buono's streak alive of never losing a game in July. They keep that one going. Got a few more weeks to work on that streak.
Yeah, but so far so good. There was one tie. .208 to go. Stampeders set up 1st and 10 on a good kick return by Pee Wee Smith. 1st and 10 Calgary at the 18. Evan Jenkins has 2 touchdowns. He has 3.
He is working hard on Player of the Week in Week 1 in the CFL. 3rd touchdown of the night, 2 through the air, now 1 on the ground. How about that? That's a happy group. Offensive line should be happy too. They open a nice hole for him. They have done a good job. The whole team looks good.
Yeah, very good. Very solid.
I don't see a weakness. Good cutback against the grain. Tackle is missed. Touchdown. Pretty easy.
Bruce Coverton, Bob McDonald, the center, and Luca Faso, the right guard, all making their first CFL starts tonight. So the offensive line should grade out pretty well in the films tomorrow. That makes it 44-20 for the Stampeders with 2:02 to play, 4th quarter. Keevan is thinking about retiring after this season.
He said this is last year, I think.
He has a Grey Cup ring from BC in ¡85. Grey Cup appearance last year. He's had a great night tonight. 2 touchdown catches and a touchdown run. Rocco Romano.
He's scary looking. He came over along with Doug Flutie from the BC Lions in that blockbuster signing in the offseason. And when you talk about acquisitions, and of course Flutie was the most notable, but I think if you ask Wally Buono, the head coach, he would say as equally, almost equally as important was getting Rocco Romano in there. They had some holes in the offensive line, and he certainly has been able to fill one of them.
6 new faces on the Stampeders this season. 3 are from the BC Lions. Tony Martino, Rocco Romano, and Doug Flutie.
So there's Bob McDonald right beside him, the center. I mean, he is a new face, but they brought him along nicely. He was with the club last year, and now he gets a chance to start. So Calgary Stampeders doing a nice job of developing within.
Willis Jaycox gets out to the 35, stopped by Paul Clatney.
When we got a 40-year loan, he just needs right out.
And Rocco seems to be okay on the sidelines with 1:56 to go. Stampeders lead at 44-20.
Yeah, the hurts don't hurt nearly as bad when you're ahead by 24 points. It's funny how the psychology of all that works. The Saskatchewan will be a lot more battered and bruised tonight than the Calgary Stampeders will.
1st and 10 for the Roughriders, beginning at the 34. Elgard makes the catch near the 50. And Mark Singer made the tackle shortly after that. Tomorrow in Canadian football, the Argos open in Ottawa. It'll be Dexter's debut. Matt Dunnigan leads the Blue Bombers into Hamilton and Edmonton at BC. Jeff Fairholm. And another Saskatchewan first down. Riders down 44-20.
Up in the play by 44 Mark
So
Singer.
it's strictly statistic improvement time.
Yeah, it's been a tough night. Falling behind 21-0. Then closing within a touchdown. Another interception, 4th of the night, given up by Kent Austin. Kenton Leonard grabbed that one, number 30. He had 2 interceptions last year. A minute 30 to go at Taylor Field.
Well, you can't have any better position than Kenton Leonard had on Jeff Fairholm right there. Just stayed right on the inside hip when the ball was in the air. He reacted to it perfectly and comes up with the interception. And quite simply, Ken Austin tried to force this ball in. Probably at a more critical stage in the game, he wouldn't have thrown it, but with nothing to lose, he let it go, and he paid the price as he gives up his 4th interception of the night.
Flutie still in there, Andy McVie.
Okay, 34 McVeigh.
Met by James King.
Met by 41 James King.
No, it's interesting to note the last 4 possessions. When the good teams get in a tight ball game late, it's always amazing to me how they seem to do the right things to pull out a victory. And you see 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals on their last 4 possessions. They just said, hey, it's time to take control of this one again.
Yeah, because the Riders had closed the gap.
Sure.
To a touchdown, then 10 points. Back to a touchdown on a Ridgeway field goal.
The good teams seem to accelerate and put it up a notch. The teams that are struggling seem to hit and fall back.
Hustle off, man, hustle off, hustle off. Punt team. Use the full 20.
Wally Buono in his 3rd year as the head coach in Calgary. Don Matthews beginning his first full season in Saskatchewan. Gino Reda will have Sports Desk right after the game with all the scores and highlights. Martino and Jaycox on the return. He's had a good night. This could be a big run for Willis Jaycox. Too little, too late. Martino brings him down at the 28-yard line. Almost. Thinking back to a play when Jaycox had a big return call back down near the 10-yard line. That might have been the end of it for the Saskatchewan Roughriders because they ended up losing 90 yards on the penalty.
Cost them dearly, and a nice return by Jaycox, but boy, I'm impressed with Martino here. Look how he breaks down and gets in good position, fights off the block of Farthing, and then able to slam Jaycox to the turf. What a tackle for the kicker. I mean, everybody in Calgary is making the big plays.
61 yards for Jaycox. This is David Pitcher inside the 15, down to about the 10-yard line. 21 seconds to go.
From the 29 to the 10.
Good night of returns for Willis Jaycox. And the one that was called back we talked about moments ago. really hurt the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Penalty markers all over the field into the final 20 seconds. Duking it up out there.
I think Roger Aldag was in that. He hates to lose. 17 seasons.
38 years old.
How could he do it for 17 years? I mean,
how long did you last? You were playing
8
way outside.
Yeah, and I could only get through 8. But Roger, now there he is, handsome fellow. He was about 6'1" when he started. I swear he is no taller than 5'10". His spine has been just slowly compressed over those 17 years.
An 8-time Western All-Star playing his 254th game tonight. He is tied with Dave Cutler on the all-time list for second spot. He's still got to catch Lancaster at 288.
Major foul.
34 games back of Lancaster's all-time record.
Rough play, disqualification. Calgary number 81. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan number 59.
Craig Hendrickson, I think the ejected Rough Rider. And Will Johnson heads to the showers too.
He had a pretty quiet night, actually. I don't recall him getting too close to Ken Austin.
Okay, we balance the penalties, half the distance against Calgary. First out.
Not out of there. It's difficult to hear Dave Ewell on the PA here tonight. Craig is the son of a former CFL tight end, Lefty Hendrickson, who has another son, Scott, in a backup role along the Saskatchewan offensive line.
First down, Saskatchewan.
Remember Lefty playing with the BC Lions?
I played 1 year against Lefty in 1974. He was a tight end, BC.
Elgard has the touchdown. His second of the night. Austin to Elgard. And a few diehard Rider fans still hanging in at Taylor Field. Late in the second quarter, the Riders got their first touchdown.
Good throw by Ken Austin. Nice touch on this ball. He gets it up and over. Darryl Hall, the defensive back. Ray Elgard gets in behind him. Nice soft hands as he hauls in his second. Even though it's kind of futile at this point, it's still, you know, you're working on things. Only 2 preseason games for Saskatchewan. This is their 3rd game of the year. They're still working and trying to perfect some things. So although they will not win this game, they want to try and function as well as they can.
Austin trying for the 2-point conversion, and that failed. 17 seconds to go.
Another little scrap out there.
Did you ever get in a fight in a football game?
Are you kidding?
No, it's pretty silly, isn't it? You can hurt your fingers.
That's right.
44-26 now. Stampeders have been in control all night long. The Riders came back within a touchdown. But the Stampeders opened it up again in the 4th quarter with 2 quick touchdowns.
On the top of the screen, 2-1-3-3-7. Congratulations, report the timekeeper's area.
Again, Calgary's home opener against the Tiger Cats next Thursday at McMahon. The Rough Riders move on to meet the Eskimos Wednesday, July 15th at Commonwealth. Into the final seconds now. Derek Crawford surrenders with 11 seconds on the clock.
First and 10 for Stampeders starting at the 27-yard line. Hope you've enjoyed the game tonight, folks.
So with it all but over, Steve Taylor comes in to get final shot at putting something else up on the board for the Stampeders. 11 seconds to go. I think you're Steve Taylor. Do you just air it out?
I think you put your knee on the ground.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
The game's getting a little chippy. Good call by Wally Buono. Get Flutie out of there. No sense to risk any possible injury that could occur. And let Steve Taylor go in and take a snap or two.
9 seconds left now.
2 yards at second down.
Stampeders off to a quick start. They led 21-0 before the Roughriders got on the scoreboard late in the first half.
They do look good.
There you go.
Consensus seems to be that the Calgary Stampeders are the team to beat in the CFL West this season. And the Roughriders were unable to do that tonight, as Wally Bueno keeps a perfect July record intact. The 44-26 victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Larry Rickman and the star quarterback Doug Flutie head to the showers. We'll continue from Regina in a moment.